I think I draw a lot of my inspiration from nature. So like if a branch has a certain curve to it, a lot of times that will totally inform the nature of the design. And or if there's colors that I see in a certain plant, and a lot of times they'll have multiple colors in it, that color will inform like a whole color palette for a design. I love just being able to create, and especially with beautiful things from nature, because I've always been a person that likes nature and being out in it, and so being able to bring that beauty indoors and be able to make something unusual or pretty out of, you know, things that are cut, that's exciting for me, and I like that a lot. I think when we lived in Ohio and my husband was in graduate school, it was like very cold and dark in the winters there, and the winters were like 9 months long, and so we were poor obviously, but it was fun to be able to like go to the grocery store in February and see like a little potted hyacinth blooming, and so I would, you know, splurge on this like $6 potted hyacinth and bring it home, and that made like my whole February like better, you know, so I could make it through the winter, and that kind of got me excited about flowers. It was also when we were there in school that I kind of started having an excitement for gardening, because we had this tiny little 1/8 of an acre lot, and since we were poor, like we didn't have a lot of money to go and do things, but I would spend a lot of time in the garden trying to make things grow and learning about different plants that maybe hadn't grown here in Utah where I'm from, and so I got really excited about that. I would go to the library with my 2 little kids and get magazines. They would give away like the old magazines that were a year old or whatever, and they had a lot of gardening ones, so because they were free I took them, and that kind of got me interested in gardening and learning more things about it that I didn't know, and so that's kind of how I got interested in it originally, I think. Yeah, I definitely get joy from being able to give the flowers to people and being able to see the reaction that they have when they get it, especially if it's like something they weren't anticipating coming, if it's someone ordered something for somebody they knew, and it just always, you can see the light in their eyes that brings. I mean, there have been so many studies that show that flowers really improve people's mental health, and so it's fun to be able to be a part of that, of making people's lives better just by bringing something that maybe to me didn't take, you know, hours and hours of time, but it means a lot to them and will impact their life for as long as those flowers last in their house. Honestly, a lot of the time I will listen to podcasts or like a book on Audible, and I love to listen to like self-improvement books or podcasts during that time. That helps me like feel like I'm learning while I'm also doing it. Sometimes I turn on music, but not super often, so it kind of just gives me time to focus on things that I can be setting goals in or whatever while I'm doing it. Honestly, I mean, I love the creative process of it, but the thing that I think motivates me to keep going in it is the reaction or the impact that I see that it has on people when I either deliver the flowers to them, or if it's for a wedding or event, like how grateful and happy they are that really made the day, that way that things turned out. And that is something that like feeds the desire to keep doing it more. So I feel like it's really a privilege to be able to work with things that are nature's creation from God. You know, I mean, I've always been a creative person and done a lot of things in different mediums of art. I've not necessarily ever been a painter, but other types of things that are creative. But I think I get the most joy from this because I do get to work with God's actual creations, these beautiful flowers and branches and things that obviously I can't create that, but I can take that and make something that's also beautiful by bringing together different parts of his creation. My name is Natalie Call. I am a wedding and event florist, and I own Tulipani Floral Studio.